Hi, everybody. This is GM John Fedorowicz for ICC. Welcome to my Simul Master June Simul. It's June 27th. I'm hanging out in Greenwich Village in New York. The construction is quiet today, and it's a rainy day over here. And before we start, I want to say something. A friend of mine, I was his coach, Walter Brown, died the other day, and I just wanted to say that we'll miss him. He was a great player. He even played a few days before he died in the National Open, and I saw that he finished in the money, so it wasn't bad. And I also saw that he did a simul, and he also played poker, so he was very busy right up until the end. So I think the chess world will miss him. He won the U.S. Championship 6 times. I was his coach a couple of times. One time in Monte Tasco, Mexico, Interzonal 1985. So we knew each other pretty well. So rest in peace, Walter Sean Brown. And on that sad note, I guess we're about to get this simul going. And good luck to everybody, and hope you have a good time. I see that some of my friends are back. I've played a few times, and I think Ultra Tumba is new. So good luck to our new people and the return people as well. So let's get this simul started. Borgnagar, I don't believe we played before. Looks like a flag from Turkey. Catface. Chess 24, we played a few times. Chess Gladiator. DLH, I believe we played, I think we played last month, maybe also a couple months ago. Dr. Strange Move, we played several times. Franco 1 feels like we played before. Jester for sure, we played. J. Russell 2, we've also played. Lao Tse absolutely played, probably more than once. Lazy Days. So we're becoming old friends with the simuls. Lithos. Nas, not so sure. NAS. Pasqualino. Quam, so I'm playing some E4s and some D4s. Robbie Williams, we played some very strange games. Stone Castle, and Tahoe Sam. Touch This, not sure that we've played. And now we're made the moves on 20 boards, and now we'll see what kind of openings we get. Queen's Gambit against Jester. I had a good time the other day with Ronan Horsvee covering the Norway tournament. It seems to me that in the candidates matches next year, that the favorites could be Hikaru Nakamura and Vishwanathan Anand. They played very well there, and also Topalov won the tournament. He had a little bit of a push in the first round when Magnus Carlsen gave him a gift by not knowing what the time control was. So that was a little weird, and when you get a push like that from you're sitting there expecting to lose, and all of a sudden you win on time. That's the kind of push that one needs to win a tournament like that, and that's exactly what happened. So congratulations to Topalov, who could be a contender next year as well. So we'll see what happens. I think that could be a really good candidates tournament whenever that is next year and wherever that is. So let's get back to these openings here. Touch This is in a Chigorin, Queen's Gambit, Knight C6. I remember people used to play that, and it's really not a bad opening. Tahoe Sam looks like we're in a French. Frank is playing a Albin counter gambit, which is a little unsound, but Nakamura's played it, and of course the thing is Nakamura is so good he can make anything look good. Jester looks like we're getting into a Slav. Stone Castle, King's Indian. Nas, another Queen's Gambit. Touch This has played bishop to g4 and move 3 of the Chigorin. That's, of course, the main line and the best line. I've always replied with knight to c3. And now DOH, we're getting into a Grunfeld. And Quam has captured on d5 with the queen, so that's a center counter, or Scandinavian, as it is called. Chess 24, we're starting off as a Perk, or Pierce, whatever, or as my friend, late good friend Victor Frias used to call it, the Perch. And also Dr. Strange move involved in another Scandinavian. He went knight f6, I went d4. Lithos, Queen's Gambit. Chess Gladiator, we're in a Stonewall Dutch. And Borgnar, we're going to be in a Slav. So I got to see what kind of thing. Stone Castle, I have been playing the same-ish a lot lately, and I'm going to stick to that. And Frank, we're in the Albin counter. Catface, I guess. Now, at some point, I think at some point, I have to change my Queen's Indian line or to something else, because people are starting to prepare for me, and sometimes it just doesn't turn out to be anything. And that's me playing the Petrosian variation a lot of the time. Tahoe Sam has just gone knight d7 and an exchange French. I'll play knight f3. Quam has just played queen to d6, and that's a good line. I've seen that played a lot lately, and I know that white plays like d4 and g3. I think I'm going to try g3 straight out, and then delay d4. Stone Castle's the same-ish, so doing okay here with the moves. Dr. Strange move, taking up space. Borgnar, I go queen c2. That's another pet line of mine against the Slav that probably at some point I have to dump. J. Russell, d4, knight f6, c4 I just played. Have a couple exchange Queen's Gambits. One Dutch, I think. And Stone Castle has gone in the same knight f to d7. So I have to, let's think about this for a little bit. Probably I'm going to reply normal. Usually what happens is in those same-ishes, sometimes the knight on e2 is in the way. So I might have to check out the opportunity here. And maybe on knight of d7, maybe knight h3 is the correct move there, so that I could put my knight on h3, bring it back to f2, and get it out of the way, and then just develop normally with bishop to e2 in some same-ish lines. In some same-ish lines. The knight on e2 is in the way, and the bishop doesn't want to go to d3 too early, because then c5 and knight e5 could go after the bishop. So I think I'm gonna give knight h3 a tryout against Stone Castle and see how that goes. I guess the knight on h3 is okay whether he plays c5 or e5. They both look okay. So now Catface has gone into the Queen's Indian, and I have to see, do I want to play a3? I'm going to play a3, the Petrosian, but I have to see if he wants to go into another line. I think that I might change from my usual thing to go for something slightly more aggressive. Exchange variations against Lithos, I think. I took on e5 and he went e6. I see. Okay. So Lithos is doing a pawn sacrifice, and I don't know. I guess it's a pawn sacrifice I should take, but I think I'm going to decline it just for the heck of it. Chess 24, I guess we're getting into some sort of Nimzovich. Touch this has gone bishop takes f3. And what to take back with there. The E pawn is an interesting thing to do, and the G pawn. I think they're both pretty reasonable, but something tells me that taking with the G pawn is probably the right thing to do, and just to make just to build a strong center. E takes could be okay too. E takes may help with the development a little bit more. I think they're both pretty good. I don't know. I think let's try E takes and see how that goes. Open in some lines with my bishop opened up. Maybe I could get some fast business going. So I'm going to try E takes. Stone Castle has played C5 and I replayed D5, and Quam has gone bishop to D7. And I think I'm going to go D4 there because on bishop G2, he wants to go bishop C6. Trading those bishops would help him. So I think I'm going to play D4. So that bishop C6 might not be that good after that. Tahoe Sam, I remember C3 being a good move. Some Alexander Ivanov game I was sitting next to. Catface has gone C5 and I'll reply D5. That's in that A3 Petrosian Queen's Indian. Doctor Strange move still in the Scandinavian. So, and Lazy Days, we're in a modern defense. He has the option of going into a King's Indian. I guess I'll just play Knight F3. Maybe he's trying one of those Gingy openings. And Chess Gladiator. And Queen to A5 from Stone Castle. Okay, so let's see. What do I reply there? Do I want to... am I afraid of double pawns here? That's a good question. If I go Queen D2, well, if he was going to double my pawns, probably he would have doubled them already. And also, I'm never sure. I really don't like these Benko gambits, probably because I played them for black. I think I'm going to go bishop to D2 and stop double pawns and also stop Benko gambit ideas. See if I can get away with that there. And we have let's see. So now what to play against? Touch this in this Chigorin. I think I'm going to bishop to G5, putting pressure on the pawn. Looks like an interesting move. What else is there? I think I'm going to go for bishop to G5 for sure. Catface I just recaptured on D5. Chess 24 in that Nimzovich position. H3 looks right. Coming out fast against Doctor Strange move with bishop C4. With those, now I'm in an exchange variation in a Queen's Gambit. In a tournament, I would probably take on E6 and just try to be up a pawn. But sometimes in these simuls, trying to play safe is the best thing to do. DOH is a Grunfeld. And Jester has gone bishop G4, and I'll reply Knight E5, see if I can get this. Catface has gone bishop A6. Now, Catface's move order is weird because he could have gone bishop A6, Queen C2. And he might be, and Queen C2 is kind of not a very useful move. So I feel like with my queen on D1, it's almost as if I'm up a tempo. So I think I like my position in that game. And let's see, where are we now? We have E6 in the Chigorin. And let's see, I guess I'd take on D5 I'm looking at. And back to Nas with the exchange. My student played in the U.S. Girls Junior and had a mediocre result, unfortunately. But she's a good player, and she'll get better results as the time goes on. Let's see, Chess Gladiator at bishop to D6 in this Stonewall. But it's a weird move order for the Stonewall. D4, D5, C4, E6. It gave me the option of taking and going bishop F4, which I've already played once or twice. There's one game in the database where I beat Boris Prudman in a pretty good game. But bishop to D6 has been played right away from Chess Gladiator, and now I'm thinking that I was trying to get into the same game, but it's not so easy. Can I get what if I take doubled F pawns? Is that a good thing for me or not? I'm thinking about knight H3, so that if he takes, I can take back with a knight on F4. Or do I want to go bishop D3 and try for knight E2 and risk double pawns, but then I have control of the E5 square? It all looks pretty good. I think I'm just going to go bishop to D3 and try and get a knight into E5 very fast if he doubles my pawns. Double fianchetto from Lazy Days. Okay, so now do I just want to take up the center with knight C3? I think that's usually the simplest approach. If somebody gives you the center, just take it. Castles against Dr. Strange move. Robbie Williams, bishop to D3. I think that's a position I'm happy about. I remember studying this, similar positions to some kind of Sicilian Taimanov. Nas, we're in this, and now let's see what to do against touch this. Do I want, is bishop takes F6 allowed in this position? So I took on D5, he recaptured, and now I'm thinking about bishop takes F6. Can he take back with a queen, or does he just repeat, return his queen back to D8 and then try to win the pawn after that? Queen E2 is an interesting move. I think I'm gonna go Queen E2. I think that doubles his pawns, which I get into a bishop opposite color type of position where my pawn structure is better. Maybe white could have a small advantage there, so I guess I'm going to try Queen E2. A4 from A6 from Stone Castle, and I know I'm a little bit of a robot with this stuff sometimes, but I always reply A4 and put an end to this Benko kind of stuff. Bishop G4 from Frank in the Alban counter gambit. Go Bishop G2. Leningrad Dolch from Ultra Tumba. Robbie Williams has gone Bishop D6. That's in the Tarish French, and I guess I just go Queen E2 looks good there. I guess I just castle, and Knight C6 from Dr. Strange move, and I feel like Rook to E1 or maybe even Rook to B1 could be good there. I don't think I'm afraid of Bishop G4. His Knight C3 really bolstered my center. I'm happy with this pawn structure, C3, D4, C5. Very nice for space and also pretty solid. I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go Rook E1. I'm looking to see, for some reason, I have a feeling there could be some E5 pawn sack because if I take, well, I don't believe it, so I think I'm going to go Rook E1 against Dr. Strange move. And Tahoe Sam has gone Bishop E7 in this exchange, French, and now I have to see what kind of development do I like there. I remember seeing development with Bishop to G2 sometimes, like in a Caro-Kann. And maybe that could be a slight advantage, but the usual routine is Bishop to D3 with some sort of attacks and castles queenside and stuff like that. But there's a lot of moves there. Bishop to D3 is probably the most popular. Bishop to G5 is a move. There's a lot of good moves here. Bishop to B5 check. I don't know. That sometimes that happens to misplace the bishop, but I'm not really sure that I believe it in this kind of thing. Although, I mean, to do something different might not be a bad idea. I think that I'm gonna try. I think I'm gonna give bishop to B5 a try. G3 to be solid is interesting. Bishop C4. It's any developing legal move is pretty good. I'm going to try Bishop to B5 for the heck of it and see what's up with that. Who for who? You? Oh. So, okay, Nas, we get back to this exchange variation of the Queen's Gambit. That's in the early going, just developing pieces. Same with DOH and the Queen's Gambit. Bishop takes f3 quickly from chess 24. Surprised at that. Usually bishop h5. Okay, so let's see. So that gives me the bishop pair. Cat face, I'm just going to develop with that's in the Queen's Gambit with the Petrosian variation. With those c6, and then I'll just go e3. That's in another Queen's Gambit. Knight e5 from Stone Castle. And now is the question here with the Stone Castle is, okay, he's threatening bishop takes h3. I have to go knight f2. Bishop g4 from Dr. Strange move. Can I just play, well, I'm thinking about this here. h3, bishop takes f3, queen takes f3. This is in a Scandinavian. And if he goes e5, do I go d5? And is my center strong there? And that puts his knight out. h3 looks, hold on. I just saw queen takes f3. Can he go knight takes d4 after? That's a tricky business. I think I'm going to play rook to b1 and get out of the way of that. e5 from chess 24 in this Nimzovich, and I'm looking to see, I don't like taking on e5 fast because that gives a fast bishop b4. I'm thinking about bishop to e3 might look nice for me. Making sure that nothing suspicious happens with queen b6s or anything like that. So I think bishop e3 looks okay there. Chess Gladiator, I'm very happy to get into my game with Pribman if I could do it. And Robbie Williams is in this French variation where what happens is it just about transposes into a Sicilian. That's in a Tarish where I don't take on d5 and I just go knight f3. I remember studying that with one of my students a long time ago, and then this knight takes c6, pawn takes c6 stuff happens, and then bishop to d6. And if you look it up, it's very similar to something, some kind of Taimanov position. And then Robbie Williams played knight f6. I'm not sure about knight f6, and I guess queen e2 looks like a move for me here, or rook e1, and then what does he play? So I guess I'm going to go queen to e2. I remember something about c4 being a good move too. I think I'm going to play queen to e2. And Nos, we're in the early going of a exchange variation Queen's Gambit. There are 2 or 3 of those. Lazy Days, double fianchetto for black. I'm controlling the center. Loud say, I don't know what's happened there. He took 8 minutes on his first, almost 8 minutes on his first move. Cat face, Queen's Gambit. And let's see what's happening here with Nagar. I guess I should go e3. That looks like a normal position. h5 from Stone Castle. Little surprise there. Let's see, what's he up to? I'm thinking of just developing here. No good discoveries on the queen. Checking out some bishop c2. Queen c2 might allow the Benko Gambit stuff. That's one thing that I didn't really want to get into. So I'm going to just go bishop e2 and develop. Robbie Williams has gone queen c7, and I think I'm going to protect the pawn by going king to h1. If he takes the pawn, I go g3 and trap his bishop. And I think that's a position where the pieces are pretty good. Okay, e5 from Quam, surprise move. That's in a Scandinavian also, and very interesting move. Didn't really think of that with his queen on d6 after bishop to d7. So I got to see what's the story with this one. So e5 hits me in the center right away. if what if I capture? Does he get a fast bishop to c6? And that's what I'm wondering here. I could go knight f3 and then trades, but I don't know. It's an interesting thing. And what is my best way to react to it? I could just go d5. Maybe that's the best. Take up some space and develop with bishop g2. Take away bishop c6. I think that looks reasonable. I think I'm going to go for that. I'm just going to play d5 against Quam. With those, same kind of thing. In the exchange variation of the Queen's Gambit, Frank is going for a very tactical variation against, in the Albin counter gambit. He's going for one of these bishop h3 ideas. He came out fast with knight c6 and bishop g4, and then I went bishop g2 and he went queen d7, and now I got to see there's a lot of moves here for white. I think that usually I just castle here. I've had this position a few times. I even had it in a tournament game once or twice. Jay Russell is going for Rogozin. Let me see if I know what I'm doing in that one. DLH early going still in the Grunfeld. Robbie Williams has castled, and now do I want to go rook to e1? It's interesting to go knight f3 also, and I don't know what if he takes on e4. What sort of exchange variation kind of thing is that? B3, I'm not so sure about. B3 is tempting to put the bishop on that diagonal, but he might go bishop to e5, and that doesn't seem right. So if I go rook to e1 against Robbie, I'm thinking against Robbie, I'm thinking about knight f3, but it doesn't. I don't know if it feels right. C4 might be the best move as in some time and off positions. I've seen that kind of play happen. Okay, double pawns against touch this. Queen e8 from Ultra Tumba. And what move do I usually play there in this sort of variation of the Leningrad with Queen e8? I think a lot of the times in that I've replied with Queen to b3. I remember analyzing something once. A strong German GM played something like, what did he do there? I mean, d5 is probably the most normal move after Queen e8. Just Black is wanting to get e5 in one jump and save time over a King's Indian. And White's job is just not to make it that easy. So d5 is the most straightforward move, but I've messed around with Queen b3 and also King to h8 as well. So it's a lot of moves there for sure. I think that I actually prepared Queen b3 a long time ago for some games. I studied a lot of Korchnoi games in this. I think he was doing Queen b3, so I'm going to do Queen b3 also. e5 from Dr. Strange move. Very tactical, and I think all of the games we've played are pretty tactical. And I'm just going to play d5. And I think that's pretty forced. Bishop d7 from Tahoe Sam after bishop check, and it looks like the most normal move for sure. And then I guess I'm playing it pretty safe here. I guess Queen e2 makes the most sense. Just play it pretty solidly there. Also in previous games against Tahoe Sam, I have to say that I've had some real disasters. I think I lost to him a couple of times in a BOGO, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe it makes sense to play as solidly as possible against him. So that's what I'm trying to do in that one. So Now, Jester, I guess I take on D5. That's in the Slav. I'm falling a little behind on the clock in these games because I'm talking so much, but that's okay. I suppose that's what this is about. And let's see what Chess 24 has gone. B5. Interesting move. And I yell at my students for playing moves like A3. But maybe A3 is the right move here. It does a couple of things. It might stop bishop to B4 later, and it stops A3 for now. Ignoring it with bishop to D3 really doesn't look that bad either. And castles is weird because what would he play then? Would he play queen to A5? I mean, castles is definitely the most aggressive move in the position. I think I'm gonna just try castles and take up the challenge there. Rook E8 from Robbie Williams, and now I'm gonna see if I could just develop with pawn to B3. Rook E8 from Catface, and now let's see. Do I go Rook E1 here? That looks okay. Castles queenside from Frank 01, and that's in the Albin counter gambit. So I castled and he castled, and now let me see what to do now. All kinds of moves here. Queen B3 is probably the one that has the most punch, with some ideas on the diagonal, looking at the B7 square. And Borgyar has taken on C4. I guess I take with the bishop at one jump. And castles from Tahoe Sam, and I guess I'll castle too. Just looks like a solid game there. Robbie Williams, rook to D8, and I just develop with bishop to B2, threatening a fork, I think. That looks okay. F5 from Stone Castle. Very aggressive play from him. I feel like taking on F5 is right. If I castle F4, cements his knight in there. And if that knight gets cemented that on E5, that could be a problem for me. The only question is, if I allow it by castling, is there any way to undermine the F4 square? So that's an excellent question. I think I'm just going to take on F5. Although, does that help him develop at all? If he takes back with a bishop, does that help his knight come out? I think I'm going to take on F5. That looks right. Bishop E6 from DOH. I just go queen back to C2. Bishop C5 from Frank. And let's see how that one goes. Let's see. Is that possible? Bishop C5. Looks like some kind of rook F to D1 maybe. Create some tricks and also maybe put an end. There could have been D3 threats, so I think rook to D1 makes sense against Frank. Okay, Nas has gone knight F8, and I think I play B4 in that position. And Robbie Williams has replied E5, so he's got all of his pawns in the center. And now I have to see what's the deal with exchanges on D5. Does that do anything for me? Or if I play rook C1, can I persuade Robbie to, if I can persuade Robbie to take on, let's say, E4, that could turn out well. Although, what's the deal if he takes and gets some F5 thing going? Interesting. And then there's also some bishop H7 business, but I don't know. With the bishop pair he has, I'm not sure that would make me happy. I think I'm going to just try rook on A to C1, or no, pawn. It's tempting to go pawn takes pawn and then rook A to C1. Maybe that's how I should do it. Okay, I'm going to do that because maybe his pieces are a little looser in that kind of case. Okay, knight A6 from Ultra Tumba after queen to B3, and so interesting move, just a developing move. And now there's a lot of different moves here. I think sometimes this discovered check does something What about here? Okay, I'm going to try c5 check. Maybe that can discombobulate him a little bit. Okay, queen a5 from chess 24, as we expected. And then I'm just looking to see if king b1, does pawn to b4 really bother me that much? I'm just going to go king to b1. So far, so good. Looks okay. And now we got to see what to do against Stone Castle. He did capture with bishop takes f5. And now I think I'm just going to play. Well, I mean, I got a lot of moves I should look at here. I think I should get my king out of the way before attempting anything. That probably makes the most sense for me. And now against Robbie Williams, I'm thinking of hitting his queen with a rook. Probably rook a c1. See where he puts his queen. a6 from Frank after rook to d1. Huh. He wants his bishop to have a drop back point, but I mean I don't know if I believe that move there. Not really sure if I believe a6 at this point. I think I'm going to just develop. Since I have my rook on d1, I think knight c3 looks like a good thing here. Maybe with some tricks, maybe knight e4 tricks, knight a4 tricks, lots of different tricks. Knight c6 from DLH. And I think I protect with rook to d1 there. Robbie Williams has dropped his queen back to b8. And now, what's a good plan for me here? That's a good question. I'm thinking of just going, let's say I just go rook f to d1 and continue to develop. It's interesting now with his queen. Maybe pawn takes d4 deserves a look. I don't know. If I go pawn takes d5, does he have to move e4? I don't think so. So I'm going to capture on d5 and see if I could cause some trouble here. Okay, Catface has played b5, which is a typical routine there. I guess on a4, I go knight to b5, but I'm a little worried in that kind of situation about my knight on b5. Bishop to g5 doesn't feel right there. I could go pawn to e4, but that might be a pawn sack. And maybe knight to d2 is the best move there. Just to see if I could play e4 or a4 or something like that and protect my pawns and some squares. So I'm going to try knight to d2. King h8 from Ultra Tumba. Expected that. And looks like c takes d6. Borgnar has come out with now the question of Borgnar is how fast is he coming out with his pieces in this kind of position? You know, how fast does he get c5 in? That is the absolute big question. Frank just developed with after knight c3. He just developed with knight to e7, and now looks like knight to e4 must be correct for me. Chase that bishop back. Dr. Strange Move has played knight to a5. And where do I go up back with my bishop? I think, okay, now I have to look at other tricks he might have here. E4 tricks with the idea of, I don't know, maybe winning the exchange sometimes, so I have to look out. So where do I put my bishop in this position? Bishop to e2. And what about e4? Okay, I'm going to go bishop to f1. Just developing in a lot of the games. Some of the games is still pretty early. Okay, now, Robbie Williams. What happens? Can I snatch a pawn against Robbie Williams with bishop takes h7 and queen e4 check? Before, I didn't think I could do it. I was afraid his bishop would get to c6 or something. Also, there's quite a lineup of pieces on the file there. So how does that work? If I go if I take it and he has, let's see. Yeah, all right, I'm going to take on h7 and see what happens. Okay, Lazy Days. This is the one with the double fianchetto. I think I'm just going to develop my pieces and control the center. Nas has gone c6 after. Now, can I take this opportunity against Nas to go b5? This is a good question. I think that was the whole point of that Kasparov move. I saw that move that Kasparov played once, and it was a very nice move. All right, Stone Castle has gone h4, and that takes the steam out of some of my g4 stuff for now. Although, I don't know, maybe I'll go g4 and make him take en passant. And also, if I go f4, what happens? I have some nice things. Also, discovered attacks on his queen with knight to e4 is pretty interesting. How about something like that? I think I'm going to try knight ce4, discovered attack on his queen, and try to use some squares. Okay, so we're back to touch this with the double pawns after queen e7, and that's an interesting one. Queen e7, I doubled his pawns. Of course, he recaptured, and now, so I have slightly better pawn structure, although my d pawn is not very good. So I'm looking at knight takes d5, queen e2, bishop e2, castles, and he comes out pretty fast there. So I think I'm just going to castle queenside and try and have the pawn structure just maybe it takes care of itself later on. We'll see what happens. Knight e4 in the game against in the Albin counter gamut game, and then bishop to a7 occurred. And now I think, okay, I have to use some squares here. I think I'm going to try queen a3, maybe try to get some knight c5 stuff. Loud say it's played a6, I'll play a4. Barnyard Nagara is trying to come out very fast here with c5. How do I stop that? I'm going to try knight to d2. Stone Castle has retreated with queen to d8. And now, let's see. I would like really to somehow to try to weaken his e6 square. If let's say I play, well, bishop to c3 looks like a good move. If I could get rid of his bishop on g7, his king could be a little bit open. So I think I'm going to go for bishop to c3 there. Knight b4 from DLH. I have to go there, queen to b1. Bishop Tahoe Sam has traded bishops. Robbie Williams, I've just taken on d5. And e4 from Dr. Strange move. So he did play that move. And now I got to see. Things could get a little confusing here. Rook takes e4. Bishop to f5 he's going to do. I don't know. If I put bishop f5 in, what is the point of that? Don't really know about it. Not really sure about that one. Queen a4 is an interesting kind of looking move against Dr. Strange move. Queen a4, maybe. I think I'm going to give queen a4 a try. It's a very strange looking move, but all right, I'm going to do that, and we'll see how that works out. Every time I play this guy, the game turns into a complete mess. Very tactical stuff. Okay, queen d5 from Tahoe Sam. He just wants to play an ending. And, well, I don't know. I guess I'll be solid against him and trade queens, see what happens there. Okay, bishop e6 from Robbie Williams. And now, where do I put my queen? Queen to f3 looks okay. You never know when I need a check or to threaten mate. So queen h3, queen f3 looks okay. I'm hoping I snatch the pawn, and now I'm trying to run away and just keep the pawn. Bishop h6 from Stone Castle. Wow. I didn't think of that one, and I'm not so sure that it looks too beautiful for him, but we'll see. The first thing I'm looking at is, can I snatch a pawn on c5? That's the first thing I'm looking at. If I want to repeat, I could go bishop to d2. If I go, let's see, if he snatches, does bishop to e3 ever bother me? I don't think so. So if I snatch c5 and he snatches f3, I like the way my king looks. So I'm going to snatch c5 and see what happens there. Okay, e takes d6 from Ultra Tumba, and seems pretty normal. Opens it up, and it looks like maybe bishop to e3 is a move. Bishop to f4 could be a move. I think I'm going to go bishop to e3. Just developed there. Castles from DLH. Now I want to see what to do here. Do I want to play? If I drive him back with a3, where does his knight go? And is control of the center any good for me here? Okay, I'm going to go a3 and drive his knight back. Take control. All right, Robbie Williams has gone g6. And now I guess I'll just go knight to c4. Looks all right. Bishop e7 from Chess 24. And I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking of going d5 at some moment. g4 looks pretty good. g4's got to be right to start the pawn storm. And Castle's queenside from touch this. So lots of good games going on. I'm not lost anywhere yet, I don't think. But there is a lot of confusion going on, and some very tactical games, which in a simul I always try to take care of the tactics, but it's definitely easier said than done. So, you know, so that's going to be the question there. So castles, and now let's see. Do I want to keep the queens on? Queen to d3 maybe, or let's see. How can he bother my d4 pawn is a good question, and how can I develop? My queen is in the way, so I feel like. And is he coming out fast with bishop h6? And if so, does bishop h6 bother me at all? I think I'm going to go queen to c2 and try to come out with my bishop there and just develop a little bit and see what happens. So bishop to e3, and then knight to h5. Very interesting play here. And now this is the game against Ultra Tumba, and I think I go d5 to try and trade those bishops. h6 from Frank. Frank has just played h6. And what's happening with this? Let me see. I mean, I suppose my idea here was to go knight c5 and maybe threaten some sacrifices. Where does his queen go? Also, pawn to b4 is something to be said for that. Pawn to b4. What's going on with that? Just to rush with b5. Pawn to b4 looks good. I think I'm just going to get that side going. Bishop c7 from Robbie Williams. And now, anything cooking here as far as sacrifices? Not yet. Rook to e1 looks pretty normal to me, so I think I'm going to do rook to e1. Queen to h3 and f4 sort of came to mind, but I think I'm going to try to play it normally without loosening the position too much. So I think I'm just going to go rook to e1 there. Okay, Jester. I'm getting into time pressure on some of these boards, so at some point, going to have to start really moving here. But so far, so good. Okay, Borgnar is trying to organize this c5 thing, and can I stop it? I'm going to try to stop it with knight to b3. Okay, and Lazy Days moving fast, and I'm moving slow. f4 from Ultra Tumba, and it has to be met by bishop to d4. But it's nice to get rid of those bishops. So bishop to d4 against Ultra Tumba, cat face. Let's see. Now, can I come out fast here with knight to e4? When am I concerned about b5? Can I bother his square? So I'm going to do knight on d to e4 and see if I could come out fast there. Without say we're in a Benoni, I got to start moving, like I said, with that Queen's Gambit. Stone Castle has just gone Queen c7 protecting. Okay. And now I'm thinking about, well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here. If I go knight back to e4, and he takes on c4, do I have any good continuations there? Also, knight e6 might make some sense. All right, I'm going to go knight to e6, make him take, and see if I could bother his king. As the king is a little open in some of these variations. That could prove very useful for me. All right, so Robbie Williams, bishop f7. If at all, do I get any sacrifices? Okay, I'm going to go queen h3 check, and see if I can bother him. Okay, Frank has gone bishop takes f3, and now what do I want to recapture with? I feel like I want to keep my bishop and try to pry him open here. So, all right, I'm going to go. And then if he goes knight takes e5, what's happening there? All right, I think I'm going to take back with the pawn on f3. And now Quam, knight a6 he's played. How do I develop here? Can I develop with knight to f3? That's in this messy Scandinavian weird position. Or do I just want to go knight e2 and take it easy and dare him to castle queenside? Although, what's his story with his? Sometimes he can get this h5, h4 thing, and that's going to help him too. I think I'm just going to go knight to e2, and try and come out with the pieces. Maybe I'll delay castling and see how that situation works. Okay, so Robbie Williams has gone king to g8, and now I got to see how do I want to do this. I'm thinking about queen to h6. Also thinking about f4. F4 is pretty interesting stuff. The idea of queen h6 would be just in case he has bishop takes c4 to stop that. What kind of ideas does he have to bother me if I do queen h6? I think I'm going to do queen h6. Okay, knight takes e5 from Frank. And now I have to see how do I pry him open here. Knight c5. He has to take it, and I take. And the b file's open. Maybe. Okay, I think I'm going to try that. Knight c5 against Frank, the straightforward approach. What the heck? We'll see how that goes. Pawn takes g3 from Ultra Tumba. Bishop takes d4. He did. I took back. I'm taking those bishops. Looks pretty nice. And on f4 takes g3. What's the deal here? I mean, it feels like just h2 takes g3 is the right thing to do. I'm going to take some c5. I take back. And now rook to d3 from Robbie Williams. And here's where I'm planning f4. And how does f4 look? Well, there's other things I could get fancy here and do some kind of thing with f4, but f4 straight out looks like the right thing to do. Okay, Stone Castle has gone Knight takes c4, and now I'm checking this position out, and I gotta be happy. What happens if I go queen to d3, hitting the knight on c4 and the pawn on g6? Let me do that, and let's see what kind of defense he can find there. Okay, lazy days. This game's in slow motion. I guess he is. I've seen people trying to do f5 in this position, but it's very anti-positional stuff. Very anti-positional. Castle's queenside for Quam. All right, so now this game is we're getting on with it here. I'm thinking, all right, if I castle kingside, is h5 really going fast or what? I think I'm going to castle kingside, and then we're going to attack each other like crazy, and we'll just see what happens. Okay, Jester has gone queen to b6. Do I have any good ideas here? Get my queen to c8, but I'm not really sure what that's doing. I guess I should just go e3 and develop and come out. If there's no quick kill, well, then hopefully I'll live anyway. And chess 24 has gone h6. Now, sometimes when you're pawn storming, h6 makes it worse for the opponent. So, how does he plan to meet? How does he plan to meet h4? Maybe he meets h4 with h5, but then I don't know if his king is going to be in any good shape there. I'm thinking of maneuvering my knight around somewhere also. I think I'm going to try knight to e2. Possibly knight's coming to g5 and whatnot. Okay, DLH. Do I have any fancy sacrifices here? I was thinking of going d5 on him. E4 control in the center is the usual thing. How will he reply to that? E3 solid. I could take over the center later on if I want to. But d5 is pretty interesting because of the pin. But he could have some tricks there. So I think I'm just going to go e3 and then try to control the center later and not to let this one get out of control. a6 from touch this. Good. I think that's a good move. Bishop to b5 might have been annoying him. And now, what do I do here for development? I think I'm just going to go pawn to f4 and try and get my bishop to g2 and also box out his dark squared bishop. Bishop to b7 from Litos. Queen b4 from Robbie Williams. Okay, so now this is a serious moment here. Knight takes e5. He's got some pins going on, but I've got some pawns. So I think I got to be happy, and maybe I could always get away from the pawns. So if I just go bishop takes e5, that looks okay. I don't see any cheapos for him, I don't think. Okay, Quam has gone bishop to f5. Probably with some ideas, maybe he wants to go knight to b4 or something, do a double attack. So that's possible. What other ideas do I have? I think I'm just going to go a3. It's a lazy move, but it might help me later on. Maybe pawn to b4 could be helpful. So I'll see how that one goes. Let's see. Frank has gone knight on 7 to c6, so he's plugging the file a little bit. And now I have to see how to do something to him here. Looking at queen a4 kind of stuff. Guard my pawn. Let me try queen a4. Litos has, Robbie Williams has captured on e5, and I just take back with a knight. I'm aware that there's some pins on the e-file, so I've got to make sure I don't fall for something on e1. Okay, chess 24 has gone knight bd7, and now does he ever have anything with takes? I'm going to go knight to g3. That looks like a nice transfer of the knight to f5. Bishop takes c3 from Dr. Strange move. And let's see, this is about to get wild. I thought bishop to d2 was a safe move for me. Let's see, and then, yep, bishop to d2. Oops, I get a lot of development. Knight takes g3 from Ultra Tumba. So what's happening here? I have to take back, and then he get, and of course, and then he goes queen h6. And what's happening there? Okay, well, I must take, and maybe it's just a draw. So, you know, that's a well-prepared line he had there. Not bad at all. Queen d7 from Quam. So now he wants bishop h3s, I guess. And I'm going to see, all right, I'm going to go bishop to g5, I guess, and see sometimes double his pawns could be nice. Queen c7, simple move from cat face, but I guess I'll try bishop to f4. Tahoe Sam, he took back. It's a really solid position. I guess I'll just go bishop to f4. King h2 from Ultra Tumba. I think Ultra Tumba probably has a forced draw there. Well, Pasqualino, what has happened here? This board hasn't come up in a long time. So I'm definitely in time pressure. 3 moves made, and I'm under 25 minutes, so I got to get going on that one. Castle's queenside from chess 24. Wow. All right. Well, I'm gonna let's see. Do I want to drop my knight on f? Let me drop my knight into f5 just because it looks nice. It makes his knight go back. Rook takes e5 from Robbie Williams. And now let's see what happens here. This is a heck of a situation. I almost have. Let's see. I'm looking at rook to e8 check. And he has to block, but I have to do everything with checks, right? So, I don't know. It might just be simpler to go pawn takes and just take it easy, right? Instead of getting into weird stuff. So, I think I'm just going to go pawn takes e5. I don't really see any back rank trouble. That looks good for me. All right. Pasqualino, I got to make up lost time. I think Ultra Tumba is just going to take a draw there. And normal game, it was a good game. Bishop f8 back from chess 24. And now, let's see. What do I do here? I'm looking at pawn to d5. His king is a little weird here. So let me go pawn to d5 and try and open up his king. Okay, g5 from Frank. And now rook to b1. Is rook to b1 look? Yeah, rook to b1. It's a sharp position for sure. Pasqualino, I haven't had one of these in a while. Okay, I guess I'll just do bishop to d3. Tahoe Sam, rook ac8. Protecting, I go rook fe1. That game is just very boring. And now I have to see Lazy Days. I think I'm going to hit him with d5 and take the center. Anti-positional from Litos, g5. Wow. Solid opening and then g5. I'm not so sure about that. We'll have to see if we can punish him for that one. Bishop g4 from DLH. And I guess I'll just go bishop to e2. And now, what's happening against Jester? Do I have any fancy schmancies here, or do I just have to develop and play bishop to d3 or something? Sometimes in these Queen's Gambits with the bishop outside the chain, there could be a quick kill, but I don't see it here. But, well, I'm going to go bishop b5 check because it could discombobulate, so I'm going to try it. Still some chances of me doing something to him here, so we'll see how that goes. Tahoe Sam, rook fe8, and I guess I'll just go rook to e2. Pasqualino, b6, I'll castle. I got to make up for some time on that board. Okay, Jester. Now, what is happening here with Jester? I thought that this was going to be not good for him, but let's see. He just went knight c6. So if I go knight c6, he has to take out the pawn. I go bishop takes. I'm looking for ways to keep his king in the middle. Maybe bishop takes, knight, pawn takes, and knight c4 he has to take, and bishop takes d6. Is that a way to keep his king in the middle? What's the best way to keep his king? Knight takes, bishop takes f4. I don't think he can do that. So what's the best way to keep his king in the middle is what I'm trying to figure out here. I think the one with knight c4 looks like the best one. Okay, so let me go bishop takes, although I don't really have to go bishop takes either. No, that must be right. Yeah, bishop takes and then knight c4 looks like the right thing to do. Okay, Frank has gone f6, and now I'm going to go f4 and finally open up my bishop. Rook exchange sacrifice from cat face. C6 from DLH, and I'm just going to cancel. I think I'm kind of happy about how I came out of this Grunfeld in pretty decent shape. Bishop E7 from Quam. My problem with Quam is how do I do something to his queen side? Is a good question. I think I'm going to push with B4 and see what's up there. Litos is going for some coffee house business with G5 and H5, and I think I'm going to have a knight visit him on F5. Lao Tse attack my bishop. I drop back to H2. Knight C4 looks good against Jester. Bishop takes pawn against Frank. I'm trying to get him on that B7 square, and it looks like a draw is coming from Ultra Tumba. Yep, just a drawn game there, and very good preparation. Okay, Count Face has sacrificed the exchange for some passed pawns. And do I just want to go rook? I guess I want to go rook A2 and give him only one passed pawn, not two. And going back and forth against this one. Lazy Days, knight B4. Where do I retreat my bishop to? Bishop to B1, and then I'm going to send his knight on the way and maybe come back out. So bishop to B1 looks probably like the right place to go. Okay, from Frank, we have rook E8. Now we got to see here. This is some stuff is going on here. Let's see if I could set up some sacks on Frank. Rook takes B7. King takes B7, check. Do I take the knight first, or does it matter? Okay, I guess I'll take his knight on E5 first. Bishop C3 from cat face, and I guess I'll just move my rook to F1, try and stay up the exchange. Borgar is continuing to play for C5, and now is he going to get it in? Is the question? Do I have any way to stop him? And if he gets it in, what's a good way to try and punish him about it? So keep his king in the middle sometimes. I don't know. I'm looking at knight C5, but I'm wondering on knight C5, what about queen A5 check kind of stuff? All right, I think I'm going to cancel, and then we'll see what happens there. Sack the exchange against in the Albin counter gambit, and now let's see what's happening here to chess 24. All right. Interesting business. If I go bishop, I'm going to go bishop to D2 and see where his queen goes. Maybe my queen can come over to the other side. Touch this has gone queen B4, and now I got to see. I have queen F5 check stuff. What else there? A3, just A3 looks good. Just chase his queen somewhere and protect D4. Knight takes D5 from Quam. So now, I fell for a slight tactic there, losing a pawn. But can that be the end of the world? Maybe, you never know. I might have gotten lucky. Maybe my bishop opens up or something like that, and that could help me. So, not sure about that, of course. So, if I go bishop takes e7, yeah, I'm going to try bishop takes e7 and work it and try that one. And his knight on a6 is not so good there. So some chances for this to turn out all right for me. Okay, I touched this queen back to d6. So that had to be a good thing, right? I mean, it went from e7 to b4 back to d6. And I'm just going to play the simple g3 and try and hassle him on the d5 square soon. And let's see, DLH. Queen to, I guess, h3, going after the bishop pair. Knight takes e7 from Quam, and I'm certainly going to keep the queens on here, if I can. Let's see. If I can keep the queens on. All right, I'm going to try to. Queen to b1, odd-looking move. Litos with knight to f8, and I'm just going to play. Now, I'm just going to go knight to f5. Looks like a nice place. And bishop takes c6. I don't think I did it right against Frank. I think I could have taken on c6 and won his queen. So I don't think I did it the right way here. So bishop takes c6. Litos just put his knight on e6. And now I guess I'm going to just try some minority attack kind of stuff since his king's in the middle. Pasqualino's gone bishop e7. And I guess I will just go b3 and develop also. Chess 24 has gone queen to a4. I see he's attacking my my pawn on e4. So how do I stop that? Thinking about c4. c4, but then he has knight takes e4 because my rook is hanging. So I guess I just protect with rook to e1. And you never know if I can get a rook lift or something in a little while. That might help. Bishop g6 from Jester. So Jester is trying to keep me from castling also. So both guys are trying to keep each other from castling. I don't know. In the game against Jester, I'm thinking about playing e4. But then if he goes queen takes d4, I'm not sure about what that is. So both sides are not, although I can maybe put my king on f2 and make it look like I castled. So the question for me here is that I can do queen a4 also. I think queen d2 looks like the most solid thing to do. Okay, I'm just going to go queen to d2 and try to see what happens there. Okay, knight e7 from touch this. And what's a good way for me to develop here? Maybe bishop to d3, bishop to h3 check, rook to e1 stuff. I think I'm going to go bishop to h3. Try to keep him from coming out also. Okay, let's say king h8. I'm going to go rook to e1. Queen e7 from Chess Gladiator. I'm going to go queen to c2. Litos has gone queen to d7. Now, can he really be getting ready to castle queenside? Is that really something to do for him? All right, I'm going to go pawn to b4 and see if I could get things ready for him. Okay, Borgnar has gone c5 like we expected. And now I have to see, do I have anything cooked up here to mess up this position? Let's see what to do. Pawn takes c5, knight takes c5. I don't know, then he can go rook c5. Maybe I can go pawn to, maybe rook fd1, just developing is okay for me. All right, I think I'm going to try rook f to d1. Although, then what's bishop to e4 is a good question. All right, Pawn takes c5. Can I clear this up without getting murdered? All right, I'm going to go pawn takes c5. Pasqualino's castled. I castle. Knight h5 from Tahoe Sam. And I guess I'll just go bishop back to d2. Knight takes c5 from Borgnar. And now I'm looking for ways to take advantage of I don't know, is it really a pin on there or not? So I'm going to try bishop to e5. And bishop to b7 from Pasqualino, queen e2. Lazy Days has moved back knight a6. And now I have to see, I'm thinking of I'm trying not to get myself overextended here. I'm tempted to go e5 and just go rushing in there after him. But I think that's sort of the point of these openings sometimes is that's, you just go nuts and you lose all your pawns. So I feel like I should develop my bishop. Let me put it on f4. Okay, rook to d8 from Chester, and I think I should go all the way back. Bishop to a3. Try and keep him in the middle for as long as possible. Jay Russell, another game where I'm getting myself into bad time pressure. Queen c2 looks right. Chess Gladiator, g6, and I think I'm going to go rook on a to e1. Knight e5 from Lao Tse, and I guess I go bishop to e2. And bishop to d6 from Tahoe Sam, and I'll just go rook to e1. And chess 24, he's forced my knight back, and I could put b3 in. I could put b3 in, but I think I'm going to wait. I think I'm just going to go knight to g3. Pasqualino trying to take his steam out of his c5 ideas. Touch this, I guess just nice development with what? Rook, I like the fact that his bishop is closed in. My d-pawn he hasn't bothered yet. So I guess rook ae1, I mean, or is that too robot-like? But I guess it looks like a move. And now knight to b4 from Jester, but Jester's king's in the middle still, and I'm very happy to get castled kingside. So we'll have to see how that works out. Lithos has indeed castled on the queen's side. Now we have to see what to do about this. Rook to c1 ideas, maybe queen to b3 is probably the normal thing to do, and get the queen out, get the rooks involved, and start pushing, and then we'll see whose attack is better, his or mine. And I don't know, to tell you the truth, but I think I like my chances there. Okay, so DLH Simul's been going for about an hour and 10 minutes or so. Hour and 15 minutes. We started at 3 on the button, East Coast time. I guess I'll just play what to do against DLH. What is his ideas here? I think I'm just going to go rook fe1 and take my time there. Pasqualino has gone h6, and I guess I'll just go rook ac1. Bishop takes c3 from Jay Russell. I want to keep the queens on the board, so I'm going to take back with a pawn. Jester's gone knight b4, which I think, unfortunately for Jester, could be the end. What happens on knight a4 is this the first result of the simul. It's very seldom that I win the first game, so I'm going to see what happens there. Okay, chess 24, bishop g7. What happens if I play b3? Where does he go? Interesting stuff. Okay, b3 looks good. bg7 from Catface. He's got some pass pawn. Well, he really has only one pass pawn, but he does have potential for more. So, but how do I take it? What do I do in this kind of position, though? What do I do here? I'm thinking of queen just trying to develop. Will there ever be a way for me to break up his pawns is a good question. So I'm going to go queen to d2. Bishop D7 from Nas, and I think I'm just going to go A4. H4 from Lithos. Am I scared yet about anything over there? Does H3 bother me? My knight on F5 looks pretty good. Does G4 bother me? You never know. So should I put an end to it? I'm going to put an end to it and go H3 myself, just in case. Okay, knight E5 from Catface. Sorry. Looks like a good move, and he's trying to get his knight to C4, which could be a little bit annoying. And I guess I'm going to go just rook to B1. I mean, at this point, I think I'm just playing against his pawns, trying to get my pieces out. Queen E6 from Quam. And I guess I'm going to go, I don't know, pawn to B4. That knight on C5 is just so strong that I don't know. But maybe I get something with Queen B4 and A4. I'm going to try pawn to B5 against Quam. I accidentally lost a pawn there, and we got to see that one. So far, I think that I'm sort of happy about my positions in these games. Not terrible yet. Okay, now what do I do against Lazy Days here if he all of a sudden goes into a King's Indian with E5? This is what I'm not sure about. Okay, I'm going to go pawn to A3 and see if he wants to do that. Okay, Lao Tse has played knight E5, bishop D6 from knight back to F6 from Tahoe Sam. And I think I'm just going to go bishop to C8, bishop to C1. Probably just a draw there. Pasqualino, he went C5, and I'll take on D5. Knight C4 from Catface. I'll go queen back to C1. Rook takes D4 from Jester, and what is that exactly? I think I just go pawn takes, right? I don't understand. And Lao Tse, I have to see, are there ways to break up his pawns on the other side? I think I should go A5 and start to do that. Knight takes D5 from Pasqualino, and I'll go knight takes D5 also. Rook E8 from J. Russell, and I'll play knight to D2 to take the steam out of knight E4 stuff. Bishop E6 from Chess Gladiator. I will just go F3 and try to build a center on him at the proper moment. H5 from Touch This. I don't know that I'm worried about anything there. I suppose I'll just go king to B1 and get out of the way of stuff. And E takes F3 from Dr. Strange move. Okay, now what's going on here? If I just take on C, well, he took on F3. If I take on C3, am I attacking two pieces? I think I am, so I'm going to go for that. Bishop on G4, knight on A5, both hanging. Okay, Pasqualino has taken now. I'm trying to see what is the best way to bother his pawns. I think I'm going to go bishop to F5 and see what happens there. Okay, queen B5 from Jester. I think Jester's position is very resignable after queen takes B4. Bishop to D6 from Lithos. That would be a nice bishop to take, but I don't know. I'm thinking about some rook to C1. Is he loading up on the diagonal on me? So should I take the bishop for just that reason? Should I take the bishop for just that reason? Also, E4 comes into play. I don't know. This one, pawn to B4. I have a lot of ways to do this. I'm not really sure. I think for some reason, pawn to B5 looks like the right move. Okay, queen D8 from J. Russell. Unusual, just going back like that. So I guess I'm going to go rook on A to E1. Okay, chess 24. Here's a question we got to ask here. His queen went back to A6. Can I just go A4? And what does he do about that? All the rooks coming off against Tahoe Sam, probably a draw. Bishop E6, knight CD5, for DLH, and now I guess I'm going to try knight to e4. Knight e8 from Lao-Tse, and I'm going to go pawn takes b6, try and collapse him on the c5 square. C4 from chess 24. I think I just take on b5, and I feel like I've won a pawn, and I'm opening up his king as well. Okay, knight b6 from J. Russell. Can I snatch a pawn here? Bishop takes h7. Looks like I'm trying to snatch a pawn and then run away. Rook c7 from Pasqualino. Okay, so we get the hanging pawn positions, and now what do I want to do here? How do I attack these hanging pawns is a good question. Interesting business here. Bishop back. All right, I'm going to try bishop to b1. Maybe I can bother him a little bit on some squares in some cases. Knight to a4 against Lao-Tse. What's the deal with that? Yep, okay, knight to a4. c5 from Lithos. And he's threatening to fork me, so what do I do? Do I take on d6, take on c5? When is queen a4 ever a good move? Okay, I'm going to take on d6 and get rid of that bishop before he bothers me somewhere. Okay, queen takes b5, bishop takes c4 from chess 24. Knight bd7 from Borgnar. Okay, well, I was going to sack my queen and try to keep him from being discombobulated, so queen takes c8 it is. Knight back to... Queen back to c7 from Lao-Tse. Now, what's the best way for me to work on his pawns there? If he's going knight to d6, okay, queen to d3 may be the right way to do this. Also, sacrifices sometimes a pawn to b4 look good. So I think I'm just going to go queen to d3 and play this solidly. All right, now, Nas, at what moment do I take? I think I should take on c6 now, because maybe he was starting to do the c5 thing. Okay, so I took the pawn from J. Russell, and now do I just want to run away? Or can I leave my bishop there? I think I'm just going to go bishop back to f5. Okay, Lithos is threatening to bother me with pawn to c4, and that's no piece sack there. So can I just go bishop to f5? Okay, Tahoe Sam, the game is very boring. If Tahoe Sam wants to draw, I would be glad to. Okay, knight back to b6 with cat face. This is some kind of time pressure's happening. I guess I'll go e4. So far, I've held up those pawns, so that's got to be happy for me. Now, what's going on with chess 24? Can I attack him here? King to b2, I'm thinking about. Make sure that bishop on g7 doesn't open up. Okay, a knight bd7, chess gladiator, and now, at what moment do I want to go e4? Am I ready for it now? Or do I want to do some bishop h6, get some stuff off the file first, and then go e4? I think I'm going to try e4 now against chess gladiator. Okay, knight c5 from chess 24. And I was just going to go rook to a1. King e7 for Borgnar. Okay, and now I like the fact that his king's in the way of his bishop and his development is just not looking so good. So I'm thinking of a nice simple move here. Bishop to d4. And Tahoe Sam offered me a draw, and I will take it. And that was a good draw there. And now J. Russell has gone. Okay, let's see. Queen d6. What moment? Let me take on c8. And let me see if I can work on those pawns. Okay, queen to e3 against Laozi to work on those on his c5 pawn. Okay, so now how do I continue against Quam here? He just calmly moves his knight back. Do I have anything berserk? Queen a4. Well, I guess I'm just gonna start pushing my pawns up on the queen side, see what I could do. All right, knight a4 from cat face, trying to get into c3. And I guess I'll just go rook to c2, still trying to stop those pawns. They haven't advanced yet, so that's good news. And do I want to, and now against, let's see, what to do against Jay Russell. I'm thinking just f3. f3 and e4 looks like a plan. Pasqualino, rook e8, and now I got to see how do I bother him here? Does queen c2 do anything? Queen c2. I'll soften him up with queen c2 and see if it does something. Litos has gone pawn to c4, so he's locked it up a little bit for now, and I think I just go queen to c2. Laozi is now chess24 seems to be trying to make a run for it with king to d7, and I like the way rook a5 looks. Getting ready for some doubling. Nas has gone bishop takes c6. I guess queen b3, working on that d5 pawn looks right. Touch this has taken. I think I'll take back with the h pawn and keep the diamond formation, or whatever Mark Ginsburg used to call that, diamond formation, stupid something. And Jay Russell has gone rook e6, and can I just go e4? Okay, Litos has gone king b8, and now I got to see what's he trying to do to me here. I'm gonna go. Let's see. Is my king safe where it is? I think so. All right, I'm just gonna go a4 and see if I could get loaded up over there. Okay, chess24's king made a run for it, but I'm piling on the a file. Knight d7 from DLH, taking the steam out of my knight c5 idea for sure. And now, do I want to go pawn to b? No, pawn to b4 feels a little bit loose. Just a little loose there. Not sure what to do. Knight c5 doesn't, I don't know, knight c5, does it feel right? Opening up his bishop, but then opening up my bishop. And yeah, I guess I'll try knight c5. I'll get knight d4 for my knight. That could be decent. Queen b7 from Borgnar, and if I go rook to c1, what can he do to me here? It looks like I have a lot of development there. Knight g7 from Litos. And I'm going to just go a5. And f5 from Laozi, and do I just want to go f3? And box his knights out. Okay, chess24. He made a run for it. I don't know how far he got, but we're going to see. How about, I was thinking about bishop to e3. I don't know, snatching pawns. All right, bishop to e3 I'm going to try. Pawn takes pawn from Jay Russell. A little bit of time pressure on some boards, but I think overall not so bad. Okay, bishop to f6 from Pasqualino. He just let my queen into h7. I don't know. I'm just going to put it there on h7 and see what the heck happens. Pawn to c4. Finally, Catface has advanced. And he's got some nice squares for his pieces. Let's see. Do I want to go bishop to e3 or something like that? Let me try bishop to e3. And then, all right, and then we'll see. I'm hanging on there. That's that one not so easy. Okay, chess 24. Bishop to b5, trying to get into c6 might look nice. Nas, knight to f6. So I'm working, trying to work on his pawn, his d5 pawn, and also maybe get some positional stuff going too. Bishop to b5 or something. Okay, king f8 from Pasqualino. And now, what is he going to do to unravel here? What do I do? I'm going to try bishop to a3 and see if I could do something on that diagonal. Okay, h6 from Lazy Days. It's just a question like, at what moment will he go into a regular King's Indian? That's why I don't know about putting my queen on d2. Putting the queen on c1 might not be bad. Okay, I'm going to put the queen on c1, attack a6, and protect my knight, and see how that goes. Okay, queen e7 for Jay Russell. Here we go. e5 just looks like a good move for me. I mean, threatening to take on f6, pin it and win it, and all that kind of stuff. Rook h c8 from chess 24, so I can win the exchange. But is that the right thing to do? Bishop takes d7 might actually be better than winning the exchange. What does he take it back with? Okay, I'm going to do bishop takes d7. Sometimes there's stuff better than winning the exchange. And now, Lithos, I guess I'll just go pawn takes pawn and open up the A file. F4 from Lao Tse. Now, against Lao Tse, I suppose I can... I don't know. I mean, I guess I could be a little positional here. Let me just go queen to f2 first and maybe take his pawn after. I think I could have taken his pawn right away and he would take the material back. But that would be pretty decent for me. Okay, Dr. Strange move has gone queen g5, protecting the bishop. But now I think I take the knight, right? Take the knight. And okay, and Lithos has recaptured. And now what to do? What is, first of all, what is Lithos trying to do to me here? Is he trying to get in some kind of is G5 ever doing anything? I don't know. Is G5 ever doing anything? Is E4 ever doing anything for me here? Time pressure all over the place here. Well, sure, if I could get my bishop to H2, I'd be pretty happy about it, but I don't really know how to go about doing that. E4 is a tempting thing here. E4. And then I always have queen trades with queen e5 if things get a little too much. So, but let's see. And then if I go king h1 and bishop h2, does he have any way to stop me? King h1 just doesn't. King h1 doesn't feel right. Does not feel right. E4 sort of feels right. All right. I'm going to go, well, hold on, E4, does bishop C8 ever bother me? That's another thing. And it's not, I thought this was going to be easier, and it's not easy at all. That's for sure. Rook to D1. I don't know, what, rook to D1, who knows what, all right, I'm just going to go rook to D1 and play safe, if that's allowed. I don't know if it is. Okay, queen c7, I'm going to go knight to d4. That's in the game with DLH. That's the Grunfeld. This game with Catface, he's threatening something, so I guess I'm going to take on c5. I hated to do that move, but I got to do it. Rook e6 from Pasqualino, and I'm going to go bishop to f5. I'm still trying to do some business on that a3 diagonal. And now with Nas, do I want to just go? Let me just go bishop to b5 and trade these bishops. Queen takes c5 from cat face. Yep. And now, is there any way to break him here? I mean, a4 is not very good. All right, I'm going to try rook to b4 and then see if at any moment can I try to sacrifice on him, and that's try and cause some trouble like that. Okay, Borgnor is what's happening. Rook to c7. I have a lot of nice ideas here to bother him with. So, can I go rook to c7? If he goes knight to e8, I just move my rook. All right, I'm going to try rook on c. Just put those rooks down there, see what happens. Okay, king h7 from lazy days just protects. But the good news now is if he goes f5, he's walking into my bishop. So that's some good news. So I'm not so excited about going. I don't know if I should go b4 here. Yeah, all right. Let's go b4. I protected the knight, so let's try that. Haven't hung anything yet. And okay, Quam is offering a trade of queens. I don't know if I could do the trade of queens. That's the thing. I don't know. Can I go? And if I go queen to c4, does he bother my bishop? All right, I'm going to try queen to c4. I have to say no to the trade of queens. Right. Okay. Now, let's see what's happening here with Pasqualino. There's all kinds of pins and stuff. Okay, let me take on d7. All right, rook a b8 from Nas. And let me go rook a to b1. Quan has offered me a queen trade on e6 now, so I'm going to go queen back to b4. I mean, if he wants to go back and forth, I think that I have to be pretty happy about that. Rook to b3 from Lautse. Do I want to trade? Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe I can just protect. I mean, what keeps me from protecting just that and taking c5 for nothing? Okay, let me just go. I'm looking at just simply rook to b1 or rook to a1 or something. Rook to a3, rook to b1, bishop to b1. Okay, maybe bishop to d1. Okay, bishop to d1 I'm going to try. I like that, yes. Bishop to d1 looks good. Okay, bishop back to c8 from DLH. And now, let me see. What am I up to here? Bishop to f3. Another queen trade offer from Quam. I mean, I don't know. I guess if he wants to draw, who am I to say no there? Okay, Pasqualino, pawn takes c5. Am I breaking him on that side is a good question. Knight to e8 from Borgyar. All right, now I was just going to go rook to a7 and try and work on pins afterwards. Okay, Quam is repeating, and I'm going to repeat too. Queen b4 again. And now, let's see Pasqualino. Is knight d4 strong for me? Rook takes c5 from chess 24. As long as I keep his bishop stuck in there, I think I'm going to be happy. e5 from DLH. Okay, so now I thought knight b5 was going to be good for me, but I don't know. Then I start to see some other stuff happening. Because c5 hanging and whatnot. e4. I don't know about that. Bishop takes d5, certainly not right. Knight to e2. Knight to e2. But how does that, and then if he goes bishop e6, all right, I'm going to try knight to e2. Okay, bishop back to c8 from cat face. Cat face is getting ready to start pushing. So, and I got to do my best to keep this from happening. All right, I'm going to go queen to b1. At some point, maybe I have to sack the exchange back. Okay, chess 24. Queen to c1, c3, hit the c5 pawn. Like I said, as long as that bishop doesn't open up, I think I'm okay. g4 from Lithos, and I guess I'm just gonna take on g4. Queen c6 from touch this. What's he up to? What is he up to here? I thought for some reason I liked rook to h1, but I'm not sure why. He might start to work on my d4 pawn again somehow, maybe with queen c4 ideas. Simul's been going for an hour and 45 minutes. I don't know if there are any. I think there might be one draw. I'm not sure if I won any yet. Okay, so now, how about queen to d3? I'm going to go rook to h1. That was my original idea. Let's just stick to it. Okay, pawn takes d4 against Pasqualino. I think I've gotten what I wanted here. Seem to have cracked him. Okay, cat face is getting ready to advance, so I'm going to try to break him up with a4. Knight d6 from Borgyar, and now why not just rook on c8 to c7? Hitting d7 looks good. Chess 24. Rook a6 looks nice for me. Rook c8 from Lazy Days. Any problems? Let's see. Are there any problems on the diagonal for me? Should I just go rook to a2? I'm going to go rook to a2. DLH with bishop e6. And I guess I'll go e4. Bishop g7 from touch this. And now, is he starting to get f5 in? That's the question. All right, I'm going to go rook back to e1 and just hit his knight. Bishop h3 from Dr. Strange move. I didn't think of that one. Now, he's gonna try to fry me on g2. But, hold on, I have ideas here. I have ideas like bishop to d2. And then he takes d2, and I take... But g3, I mean, is he really going to mate me there? I think g3's got to be the right move. Okay, bishop takes c6 from Nas. And king e8 from chess 24. And now, what is happening with, say, like rook to c6? And rook g6 from Pasqualino. And now, do I want to... okay, hold on. Is he threatening perpetual checks all of a sudden? Do I need to stop that? If I go rook takes c5, he gets rook check and queen g4. Okay, hold on. Well, okay. Queen to h8 and rook e1 must be nice, huh? Let me do that. Let's check on h8. Okay, knight takes g4 from Lithos. And I'm just going to go pawn takes. Okay, now, rook e1 check against Pasqualino. Queen back to c2 from Nas. Rook takes, bishop takes f1. Doctor Strange move is going to try to mate me on g2, and I'm going to try not to get mated on g2. Okay, and now what's happening with Litos? Can I just... I was wondering if I could just trade... I was intending just to trade queens on f4. Is that any good? Or does he get some kind of action going here? Let me see. Also, I don't know, I could take on h3, but queen to f4, queen takes, rook takes. Yeah, I think queen to f4 seems correct. And now against Borgyar. Okay, so I take his knight. What's the score? How much stuff do I get for the queen here? Okay, I want to go rook takes, queen takes. Is that 2 pieces? Did I count right? Bishop c5 stuff. Can I be greedy and go rook to b7 and try for more on the next move? Maybe. So I don't have any back rankers to worry about. But rook takes, queen takes, rook takes, king takes. 2 pieces for a rook, and then knight e5 check. That looks pretty good, but something to be said for keeping the tension with rook to b7 also, and then having some threats on the next move. I think I'm going to be greedy and try rook to b7. Okay, chess 24. I guess I'll go rook. I guess I'll just go rook takes. Now, if I go, is he making any threats with his bishop? Should I take, maybe I should just take my time here and bring my knight back. I'm going to bring my knight back to c4. That looks good. Okay, king f6 from Pasqualino. That's and now does he have some threats here? He does have some threats. I mean, is my queen? Did I mess up my queen here? Is what I'm wondering. Okay, let's see what happens here. If I go pawn takes c5, does he have rook takes g2? King takes g2. Is he threatening, is he threatening rook to c5, I'm wondering. So if I go rook takes c8, let me see here. Rook takes, no, I don't know that I did this right. If I just stop, suppose I stop for g3. Okay, I'm going to stop for g3. I don't think I did this right, but that's the way it goes, right? Queen takes f4 from Litos. I'm up a piece there, but he's got some sort of business going. Queen to d6 from touch this, and I guess I will go queen to e2. And f5 from chess 24, very anti-positional, hoping to blast his bishop open. I'm just going to take on f5, and then not going to open his bishop, that's for sure. Do not want to open that bishop. Okay, and now what's happening here? I think DLH is just pretty solid. Double rooks, and now chess 24, I was thinking of just going something like knight e3. f3 isn't bad. All right, knight e3 looks good. We'll make sure that it has double pawns. That's got to be good news. Knight f4 to Nas. Let's see. Do I want to take it, or I guess I just put my other knight back and then start to work on a c pawn. c6 from Lazy Days. Okay, now I have to be careful because he's open. I don't want to open up. I don't want to open up the c file. There's too much stuff in the way. Yeah, there's just too much stuff in the way. So do I want to take on e6? Okay, I'm going to take on e6 first. Okay, rook h8 for Pasqualino. Not much choice for me. Queen h7. Knight e8 from DLH, and I guess I'll just go back to d2 and try to double rooks. Okay, here we go. Dr. Strange move is starting the mates. He's gone queen f5, trying to get into h3. Now, I have g4, but I think king h1's got to be the right move. b3 against Lao Tse, so everything seems to be under control in a lot of the games. I haven't lost any yet. My best time, I think, might have been 2 losses. So we'll see. Okay, everybody. I hope everybody's thinking, because Lao Tse's clock is ticking. Oh, the Yankees are up 4-0. And there's and I thought there was soccer on somewhere. I watched the girls' World Cup. It's not bad. G5 from DLH. Okay, well, I don't have much choice, but is that F5 square later on going to come back to get him? We'll see. I mean, anti-positional business again. Dr. Strange move with rook to E8, and now, okay, I just want to see. I just want to try not to get mated here, so I'm thinking of offering him a queen trade on F4. Okay, rook takes A4 from Lao Tse. Well, okay. Well, it protects the pawn, but it's the exchange. I think I'm happy about that. And now C5 from Pasqualino. So I really messed this one up somehow. But all right, let me see if I can fight some more here. Bishop E7 gets his king walking. Could that be good? All right, I'm gonna go Bishop E7 and try to get his king walking up the board. A5 from Nas. And I'm just gonna attack his. I'm just gonna work on his C pawn. Pawn takes E6 from Lazy Days. Now, I'm looking at rook to D1 ideas to see if I persuade him to go D5. Is that going to be good? To open up the bishop, maybe. I can't go rook D2 because my bishop's hanging on F4, so I'd have to go. Maybe I should maybe just safe play here with bishop to G3. Just get the bishop out of the way. Everybody's protected. Looks like it. You never know. Okay, now Pasqualino has sacked his queen, so I'll just take his queen, and then I'm going to try to get my king out of there, and we'll see what happens. Okay, Dr. Strange move is snatching pawns. I hope I'm stopping the mate. G5 from Lao Tse. Now Lao Tse is starting to try for some counterattack, and I'm just going to try and get a trade of queens going somewhere against him. All right. And now, what's happening with Chess Gladiator here? I have some ideas. The sacrifices don't seem to work yet. Bishop takes D6 looks good. Rook takes B1 from Nas. I'll just take back with the rook. Now, knight, queen C7 attacking my pawn against DLH. I guess I could just go B4 and protect it. Still have ideas of getting knights to F5 and whatnot. Okay, now, if I get my queen out against Pasqualino, I'm going to be winning pretty easily. So let me see, how do I get my queen out? I'm thinking about H4. If I could get that rook out of there, then my queen comes back into the game. So that looks good. I'm going to go H4. Dr. Strange move has snatched a pawn, but does bishop to B4 win the exchange? Queen to, okay, now, touch this has gone rook to D to E8. We're going to get into a question here. What's, are 2 rooks or queens stronger? That's going to be the question here any second. Okay, Catface, I'm trying to slow down the advance of Catface's pawns, and it's not been easy, I'll tell you. So let's see what to do here. I'm going to try bishop f1. I'm really trying to hold these pawns up, and it's having a hell of a time doing it. Okay, Chess Gladiator's getting in a little bit of time pressure. I'm getting a little bit of time pressure also. Okay, Lithos has gone h2 check. I don't have much choice in that matter. And now let's see what Catface is doing. Okay, I'm going to take, let's see, do I want to take on b5 against Catface? f5, all right, I'm going to take on b5 first and see if I could sack the exchange or something like that. It might be nice. Could be very helpful. Okay, against Nas has gone rook to b8. I can't snatch pawns because of back ranks. So I'm going to take b8 and then just give myself air, I guess. All right, now what's happening here with Lithos? Lithos has gone rook takes c4. I got to make sure that the diagonal of the bishop doesn't open up. I guess I'm just going to try to go g3 and then surround that h pawn. And we'll have to see what he has in mind for me. Okay, trade some rooks against DLH. Trade some rooks. I still like getting that knight to over the, yep, I think I'm just going to go rook to d1 and let him trade the rooks. b5 from Lazy Days. Okay, now, I'm trying to work on his d6 pawn, so I'm going to go rook to d2. And Nas, I guess I h3 air. I don't know if I'm slightly better there or what. Bishop f3 from touch this. Okay, now, Lithos is coming up with his bishop. Now, where's his bishop? Can it go to bother me? I don't see where, so I think I'm just going to go king up to g2 and try and take his pawn. Okay, and now what's happening with Catface? Catface is making it rough here. I mean, if I go pawn takes, I'm trying. He's got this bishop pair is really annoying, and if I go pawn takes, he takes with the bishop. And do I have any way to unravel myself with sacrifices or something? I don't really see it. I don't really see it here. So what to do? Bishop takes c4. I don't think I'm going to survive that, but maybe it's the best thing to do and take back with the b rook and have some open files. Oh, why not? Okay, I can't let those pawns live. I'm gonna just take back with the bishop and see what the deal is there. Okay, now Nas is defending well. I guess I'll go knight back to d3 and try and bother his pawn. Anti-positional move from DLH, but probably not so bad. Okay, I'm going to take on f5. And now f5 from c6 against touch this. And now what's happening, I was going to go rook to e3 and see if I could tie him up. Okay, rook g6 from Lithos. And now what's his ideas? Bishop h3 ideas? Bishop g4 ideas? Okay, I see. Now, if I walk if I go bishop rook to h1 and block those guys, I think I have all the squares covered. So I'm going to go rook to h1, and we'll see. Okay, Catface. Bishop to e4 feels right against DLH. Good move from Nas, just boxing my knight out. Let's see. How do I want to do this here? f3. Does that loosen me up too much? I guess I'm going to go f3, start to bring my king out. King f6 from Pasqualino. He got his king out of the way. Now, I have to look out for tricky stuff here. Pawn takes pawn, rook takes rook, and b2. Some kind of things like that could happen. So, do I want to? Can I go? Can I just go H? I don't know. H5, not yet, huh? Rook to C3. Pawn takes pawn. I don't want to open up his bishop. Maybe pawn to B4 is the right move, and just let his rook out. Okay, pawn to B4. I just want to shut his bishop in there. I don't want anything to happen there. Okay, now what's happening with touch this? Do I have him tied up a little bit, at least on the E file? Some move like knight A4 maybe. Try and get that knight over there. Okay, Nas has gone G6. I'll go King F2. Rook takes F3 from Lazy Days. Exchange sack. Well, I got to take it, right? Knight F6. Good move from Gladiator. I just have to go. I don't know what to do. I'm afraid of my rook. I guess I'll just go Bishop F3. I was afraid of the E file. Okay, now I have to be a little careful against Lao Tse. I want to offer him a trade of queens on B6 at the right moment, and hopefully that would take all the steam out of the position. Okay, now against Catface, is there any way for me to bother him? Rook's on the 7th. Don't know. Okay, at first I'm looking at rook to b7 to bother that bishop. Let's do that and see and hope, and we'll see what happens. Okay, I'm going to take the bishop against Dr. Strange, the rook against Dr. Strange move, and now we have to see what Lithos is protecting his pawn, and now how do I surround it? Probably I'm going to try something like rook to E1. And D5 from Lazy Days. And I guess I'm just going to try to shut him down here. C5. Okay, rook E8 from Pasqualino. And now, when is my queen getting back into the game here? Man, I really like to get my queen back into the game. That was just really dumb doing that to the queen. H5, rook G5. Queen gets back into the game or not? All right, H5 must be right. Okay, Dr. Strange move has gone king takes, and now I guess I'm going to threaten mate on... Okay, if I threaten mate on F7, I better really make sure what I'm doing, because a queen H3 happens. That's not going to be good. Okay, so I'm going to do rook to D7 and threaten mate. King E7 for Nas. Nas is doing a good job of defending here. Probably a draw is some sort of normal result. Okay, bishop back to E6 for DLH. And now I got to see, do I have just simply knight C3 or something like that? And then what is he going to do? Knight F6 maybe? Okay, knight to C3. I'm positionally better. Rook to E8, a chess gladiator, not bad. And I'm going to go queen to D2 and try and protect all my stuff. Against touch this, I'm going to go knight to C5, I think. Bishop H3 from Lithos. I'm going to go king F3, get my king out of the way. Dr. Strange move has defended against the mate. So I'm just going to go queen to F6 and keep the mate going. Bishop to D5 from Chess Gladiator. I guess I'll just take on D5. I mean, this game's probably, I should be happy with a draw, I guess. And now, what's happening with Nas? Nas has walked his king over there. And I'm going to just play queen to C3. And I don't know, I mean, I'm not sure what I'm playing for there. Okay, and now let's see. Loud say, can I trade queens on offer a trade of queens on B? No, I can't offer a trade on queens on B6. Is queens protected? So that was not good. So do I have to go rook to B5? Yes. All right, and then he gets knight D6 or something, and then I'll see what happens after that. Okay, bishop F5 from Lithos. And now I'm thinking of something like rook E5 could be nice. Although, is it possible he makes some repetition by threatening bishop to G2 sometimes? This is an excellent question. You know, now he starts up with this bishop G2 stuff. So some sort of repetition is possible. Although when he goes bishop H3, so rook E5 looks like the right move for me. Yep. H5 bishop C8 from Pasqualino. What? So he's giving me the rook, and he's just going to try to trap it. Is that what he's up to? Well, I got to take the rook. Okay, now what's happening here? King G8 from now Dr. Strange move. I'm just going to go rook to D1, and I don't think that his queen can get in there. And I'm trying to go rook to D8 on him. Okay, Chess Gladiator, we're getting into some kind of time pressure here. Bishop G4 from G4 from Lithos, King E3. Lazy days. Lazy days, this one's getting messy here. Okay, I'm going to go bishop to D6 and pin that. Cat face, do I have chances here? If a draw were to show up by repetition, I would snatch it up in a second. Okay, I'm going to go rook to B8, and I'm hoping. Okay, what's happening here with Loud say? I can rook to C5 feels like the right move. Looks like Japan and Australia is nothing. D4 from Lazy Days. I don't know. Maybe I would have been better off opening that up, but I'll have to see. Maybe I can reopen it here. Knight to E2. His pieces look really kind of weird. So let's see. Knight to E2. Rook H7 from Lithos. And what is his idea now? Now I'm thinking of snatching on D5. I have to make sure. I'm always on the lookout for bishop F3, stuff like that. Okay, I'm going to snatch on D5. And bishop takes D4 from touch this. Okay. I see. So now if I go rook takes, he goes king takes. So I suppose I could put knight takes B7 in here for some reason, but I'm not really sure what it's doing. His bishop on D4 is getting very strong. Knight takes, I don't know, knight takes B7 or knight takes A6. Knight takes A6. Knight E6 is kind of weird looking. I don't know what that would do. Pawn takes, rook takes. I don't know. I mean, it's almost better to take the B pawn, I would think, than that. So how does this work? And is he threatening to snatch all my pawns on F2? I'm wondering about also. So let's see here. Rook takes. Takes knight there. Very messy stuff. And if I do that, he gets these pawns. So. All right, I'm not sure what I'm doing here, but knight takes B7. Queen to for Nas. Nas has gone queen to B1, and now I'm investigating queen A3 check. I guess I'll do queen a3 check. And gladiator's going to queen f5. And I guess I'm just going to go knight to c3, and I'm probably happy with a draw. He played very well there. I mean, whether he wins or draws or whatever the result, he did a nice job there. Okay, he's knight to d5 looks like a good move. Do I want to go rook to e1 or rook to, let's see, if I go rook to e1, try not to blunder here. It's late going. Simul's been going for 2 hours and 13 minutes. Okay, an exchange of, hold on. Now, I'm trying for a draw by repetition against cat face. I'm going rook back to b7. Okay, now what's happening here against Lao-Tse? And queen to, can I go queen to a2? And just start to round up pawns. I would like it if I could trade queens. Okay, now lazy days. Trying to get, I'm looking to see, can I do f4 here? And then takes and go knight takes. My king's a little open, but look at his pieces. The knight and his bishop on b7 look terrible. So I think I'm going to try f4 and open him up. Okay, so Pasqualino is really intent on messing up my queen. So I'm going to try rook to c3 and keep that from happening. Okay, now what is Litos doing here? Is it? I feel like, is he giving me another pawn, but is he going to get some open lines because of it? I can't do king d3 because all right, so I'm going to go knight takes c3. g4 from DLH. Take that one. All right, and bishop takes d4. And now my problem with this touch this is that he seems to be hassling all my pawns. So I'm going to go rook takes f7. Queen h1 from Nas. And what's happening here? I'm looking at various things. Queen back to c3. With queen back to c3, can he snatch a pawn? All right, I'm going to go queen back to c3. But then, I don't know, queen a2 check is interesting for him. So what do I do here? I got him tied up. Maybe g5 is the right move. Let's try g5. But then queen h1. It's not. Probably I can make a draw if I want with knight e5. Although, I mean, if he bothers me with queen b4, I don't think I could take that. So that's a question. Maybe knight c5 is the right way to make a draw. But then queen b4 again. Well, okay. I'm gonna go knight to c5, and I think I can make a draw with that move. All right, now what's happening here? All right, DLH. Okay, touch this is snatching pawns. I'm going to try to harass him a little bit. See if I could, I mean, I don't want to, I think that D pawn is dangerous, so I think I'm going to try to bother him a little bit and see if I could keep that from happening. Okay, Lazy Days has gone rook to e8, and now I guess I take on e5. And Litos has gone. Okay, now the thing with the Litos is, I'm moving. He's trying to bother me here, and what to do about it? I mean, that threat of bishop to h3 is always is bishop to f3 ideas is always there, and then his rooks get into the position, and then it's a mess. So I think I have to go king to, but if I go king to d2, he does bishop f3. You know, and that's not going to be good for me. So, how about if I give her a check, I'm going to give a check on E8. Okay, and I'm sorry, Nas, you're playing a great game, and then all of a sudden, Knight A6 happened. So that was a terrible thing that just happened to Nas. I mean, I think he was just I think he was absolutely okay there. Queen F7 from Lazy Days, and I think do I take a pawn, or do I need, is my king okay here? Is what I'm wondering. Knight to G3. I mean, even F4. What is? Let me go F4 and just be greedy here, and try to keep all of this stuff. Okay, King F7 from Chess Gladiator. I'm just going to play H3 and give myself some air. Bishop to H6 from DLH. And what is my story here? Rook to E2. Rook to E7 from cat face. Okay, now I double rooks on the 7th. Okay, Lithos. Tricky guys. Okay, Lithos now. Can I just go bishop to E1 and defend all my stuff? I mean, I thought this one was really going to be easier than it was. I mean, and everybody's fighting. Everybody is tough games. Tough. I'm telling you. Okay, Lazy Days. Bishop back to C8. And now I guess I'll just go rook takes D4. Pasqualino has gone bishop to G4. My queen is still stuck in there. Amazing. And how do I get the queen out? Right now, I'm looking at rook to E3. If I get my queen out, I'm going to try to dig my queen out with rook to E3. And then I guess I have to see. Rook to E3, rook takes, pawn takes, C3, queen somewhere. I think that's okay for me. My queen gets to play the game. So rook E3 looks good. Okay, rook H3 from Lithos. Some serious time pressure. What's he threatening? What is Lithos threatening? Rook takes and some. All right, I'm going to go D5. Time pressure all over the place here. Rook F6 from Lao Tse, and I'm just going to. I'm very happy to trade queens with Lao Tse if that were to happen. Trying to harass some of these opponents. Okay, now what's happening with Lazy Days? F5 is very tempting. F5 is really a tempting move here, and I think I'm going to do it. Okay, let me go F5. Pins and stuff. Yeah, takes, knight G3. Yeah, okay. Okay, queen to B7 from Lao Tse. And now, what's he trying to do to me now? So, like I said, I'm very happy to trade queens. So I'm going to go queen to B5 and harass the queen trade. Okay, and now what's happening, Chess Gladiator? I guess I'm going to go on submission with queen C7. Lithos has gone bishop H5, attacking my rook. And now, I don't know. I feel like rook to H8, tying him down. How is that? Let's tie him down, I think. Queen A8 from Lao Tse, and did he just hang a knight? Queen E6 from Lazy Days, and knight G3 working on the pin looks good. Pin it and win it and all that kind of stuff. Touch this. I'm struggling with this touch this. Okay, let's see now. Chess Gladiator, is he going for a walk? All right, I'm going to go queen E5 check and stop the walk. And what's happening now? Hey, king to h2, but I think my king is. I think my king is happy where it is. So I think I'm going to go a4. He's getting into some time pressure. There's time pressure all over the place. I don't know how many games are left. I don't keep track. I just play. Probably I should keep track to have some idea. It might help me as far as, knowing what the deal is for moving and stuff. Okay, so rook f4, pin it and win it against Lazy Days. Rook e7 check against Lithos. So if I go, let's see here. If I go king to d4, what is it? I'm just looking for the easiest possible win here. King to d4, rook takes, he makes a queen. And then what? Yeah, I think I might go for that. Unless he does he have bishop to f? All right, I'm gonna go for that. Okay, now Pasqualino has gone rook to b8. My queen is still stuck, but I'm working hard to get it out. I'm looking at rook e7. I'm a little scared of that though. I think I'm just gonna go a3. Although, rook takes b4 would allow my queen in, so maybe king g2 makes more sense. Okay, I'm gonna go king to g2. Rook takes e1, rook takes e1. That position's starting to clear up a little bit. Now, am I just winning material against Lazy Days? Bishop takes f5, or do I want rook takes f5? Let me do rook takes f5. Maybe I'm gonna mate him on h7 or something. Queen from hold on here. Now. What's happening here against Lithos? What is rook e7? Well, not bad. That game was a very tough game, as usual. Always tactical messes, and I think I've gotten lucky against him a couple of times. I don't know if this one was getting lucky though. I think I defended pretty well there. I think that his g5 h5 thing in a solid queen's gambit was asking for trouble. And so Lazy Days. Okay, now Pasqualino, rook to c3. So he's trying to get his pawn going. And I have to say, I probably have to try not to let him have his pawn going. But exactly how? I mean, do I go rook to c3? All right, I'm going to go rook to c3 and try and keep his pawn from going. Weird position, man, with this. It's just really weird with my queen stuck in there. Okay, now what's happening with Chess Gladiator here? His king's made it over there. But the question is, okay, in a queen ending, we're talking about passed pawns. All right, I'm going to get my king closer to his pawns. He's getting at the time pressure, nice time pressure. Rook e8 from Pasqualino. Okay, aha. Now, does rook a3 finally win for me? Maybe against Pasqualino. I think rook a3 was just, I think it wins. Yep. Finally. Even with the queen stuck in there. Get some rook a6s, some rook takes a7s. I don't think he's going to be able to defend this with just the bishop. Okay, now, let's see what's happening with Catface here. Catface is defending his bishop. His king's a little open. Now I'm looking hard here at queen b6. Queen to b6. I'm looking very hard at that. I'm looking very hard at rook to b8. Don't know. Queen to b4. Trading queens. Not out of the question either. Queen to b6. What also rook a7. Just rook a7. Hold it. Hold it. Yes. Rook a7. Hit the queen. Where does he go? Maybe it's okay for me now. All right, now what's happening here with DLH? Is bishop takes e5 allowed? Okay, Chess Gladiator has just gone b6. And I guess, do I try to walk up with my king? Yeah, I'm going to try to get my king to g5 and maybe harass his pawns a little bit. Okay, now, where's he walking to harass my pawns? Now, I don't know. Do I want to go a5? I had to be careful. I could give him a passed a pawn, and that wouldn't be good. So I'm not sure here. I'm looking at queen trades, very strange. If I go a5 and give him a passed a pawn, I don't think that's going to be nice for me. So I'm investigating. I'm looking at a5 for the moment, but I don't know that I should do it. I'm looking at king 2. I'm looking at maybe my best move is actually something like queen to e2, but I'm looking at king to h4. All right, I'm going to go king to h4 and try and harass his pawns a little bit. In the queen endings, it's sometimes not how many you got, it's how far they are. This is a serious business here with this queen ending. My king is closer to his pawn, so if he wants to offer a trade of queens, that's okay. All right, now, so DLH has just moved his queen back after I snatched a pawn, and I'm looking to see, I'm trying to keep him from having tricks here. So I'm thinking about queen to f2, queen e1, sorry, just to be solid. Just to get my queen there. That looks okay. Looks solid, and I snatched a pawn. What is going on here with Catface? Catface has just sacked his queen, and I don't understand that at all. I really don't understand that one bit. Okay, now we have to see. Chess Gladiator has gone a5. And I'm thinking of just going king to g5. And I have to see, if he goes queen f5, is that some kind of peculiar race there? Is the only question, because he gets his b5 stuff in and whatnot. So that could be a little strange. So I have to be a little careful here. Maybe g4 could be a good move for me. I think g4 looks like a decent move for me. Trying to keep an eye on this. Now, Catface, I don't know, man, what happened here. Queen b8 check looks just. All right, hold on. I can't get too overconfident here. Rook takes d7 does not look terrible. That's the first thing. Rook takes d7 does not look terrible. I mean, at least I'm not going to lose, which is before I was going to lose. So what about, okay, queen b8. Queen b8. And then where? All right, I'm going to go, all right, I think I'm going to go queen b8 against Catface. And just a rook move might be good too. All right, queen b8. Pawn takes pawn against Chess Gladiator. Bishop c4 from DLH. Can I just go rook f2? Am I happy to trade off a lot of stuff here? Simul's been going for, wow, 2 hours and 30 minutes. A lot of fun, though, not bad. So where does DLH go here? Okay, so king to d7 from Catface. All right, now rook to the 8th. Rook to the 8th. Queen c4 from Chess Gladiator. Okay, now he's threatening to take some pawns, but should I take the G pawn? I take the G pawn. I got G5. I mean, my pawn is fast. Maybe. Let's see. What other ways are there to do this? He's after my A pawn, and I think it must be right to take the G pawn and get involved in some kind of race. King A6, of course. Now I don't have anything fancy here. I don't think Queen D7 is a strange one, because if he takes, then do I have D5? Trying to make a pass pawn like that. That deserves a look for sure. I mean, the worst that happens is it could be perpetual. Queen takes, so maybe Queen D7 is an idea there. All right, I'm going to go Queen D7. I mean, it may be a draw, this one, so I'm, it's a solid, tough game there. So very good games today. I think there was only, there was a fast draw. Probably all book. I don't know. But if it's but I have to be careful about that, how I played that, because knight takes G3. That was in a what kind of position was that? I was in the Dutch with the Leningrad Dutch with Queen E8, and that perpetual check happened. Now, if Chess Gladiator just goes Queen takes C3, I mean, what's the deal there? Queen D5. Okay. So, all right. So I have to think here. I mean, do I want to draw? All right. I mean, I have one. I'm going to go Queen C8 and C first. Queen C8, good. Yep. He played very quickly there. And now I'm going to go. Suppose. Well. And it's a dangerous thing to try. Sometimes you try to win positions and you lose them, and then you feel kind of stupid. So I have a feeling against Chess Gladiator, I should probably just make a draw, unless there's some way for me to go after that G pawn again. So and like I said, I mean, he might go B5 fast, and then his A pawn is going. So I think basically what I'm doing here is I think I'm talking to myself into the fact that I just have to take a draw here. So Queen C7, Rook E8 from cap face, and now what's the best thing? Okay, Queen takes D6, Queen B7 we did already, so we probably shouldn't do it. So Queen D6. And I take his Queen takes D6, looks good, attacking his bishop with check. That looks nice. Okay, so now if I get too fancy here against Chess Gladiator, and let's say I play Queen to B8, threatening a mate, and he goes B5, I think that I have to take perpetual there anyway. His A pawn is just too fast, so I think it's just perpetual here. Yep. So taking him a draw by perpetual against Gladiator. Okay, bishop to C8 from DLH, harassing my pawns. Okay, now I got to see what's up with that. That looks like a good move. So he's going to get both. I can't give him both the pawns. Do I want to go? Can I go knight to B1? See, he's going to take them all, and I can't give them all to him. I mean, I'm looking at B5, But all right, if I go knight to all right, I'm going to go knight to b1. I hate to play a move like that, but I have to defend the pawn for a second. Well, usually these simul's go around 2.5 hours. I think this is probably the longest one so far. Out of I don't know how many I've done, like 10 or something like that. So it's a lot of so it's fun, and I hope you guys are having fun also. So I saw today that Kramnik, since we're thinking here, I saw Kramnik lost to Nadic. That Nadic, he beats a lot of good players. That guy. You know, I mean, he just beats some strong players. He beat Carlson at the Olympics. That guy's a dangerous opponent. You know, beating Kramnik today, and it was a pretty nice game too, from what I saw. Okay, I'm going to get my H pawn going in this DLH. Knight f6. And I guess I shall go bishop to g6. And he probably comes up. And then I go where with my bishop? Bishop to c3. Looks like the girls' soccer is nothing. Okay, so now looks like bishop to c3 against DLH. Make sure everybody's covered. I still miss the old days where you had the increment, where there was no increment. It was just a. But I guess in the tournament, in a simul like this, it's okay. But I miss calling people's flags down. I called Walter Brown's flag down a few times. That was always a lot of fun. Trying to get my H pawn going here if it's possible. See, DOH is thinking, I don't know if there's any other games left. I think the Pasqualino, very good. So I think my rook A3 against Pasqualino did a good job. So this is the last game. And I don't know. I don't think I lost any. It could be the best simul. I mean, wow, very good. 14 wins and 5 draws, and this game is still going. Not bad. I was really very impressed with myself today. Okay, so let's see if I can wrap this game up without hanging something. That would be nice. Okay. I think I'm going to offer a trade of bishops here. And then maybe see if I can get my H pawn going. So the tough games were the Dutch. I didn't feel there were a couple of games where I felt I made some narrow escapes. The Litos game, I think the Litos game I felt pretty good about, even though it was, a little bit out of control. It was even more than a little out of control. I mean, but that's every game I've had with him. Grunfelds, all kinds of stuff. And he always finds some sharp thing. But I mean, let's face it, the Queen's Gambit, if you're playing a Queen's Gambit the coin, I tell my students, you just can't decide to checkmate the other guy all of a sudden. It's a little bit anti-positional. So I think that when people are playing an opening like the Queen's Gambit accepted, they got they just got to relax and take it easy. Okay, now what's happening here against DLH? Am I happy to push this H pawn again? Or is his king getting too close to me or something? All right, I think I'm going to push this H pawn, looking out for squares. All right, I'm going to push the H pawn again. Figuring out, trying to have that H pawn bother him. Maybe like some kind of, I don't know. I mean, you could tell I'm getting a little punchy. I was just analyzing King F6, and that's not a good move. Looks like Japan scored to be leading 1-0 over Australia. Bishop to G7 was played. Blocks the pawn. Looks like it's a good move. And now I have to see. Can I bother his G? I'm thinking of harassing his G pawn some. So if I go, let's say I play King to G3, what does he do there? Where's the best place for my king in this game? I don't know. My king should go wandering up to G5 or something even. Okay, I think I'm going to go King to G3. Bishop to D1. Good move. Yep. And now let's see. How do I make progress here with this pawn? Bishop to H5 does nothing. He's got King to F5. Although, then I wonder if I could start to work on his other pawn there. So Bishop to H5. Interesting move. And then he goes Bishop to E5. I don't know what this King H5. All right, I'm gonna try this. I don't know. I mean, it's not so clear because King F5. Bishop there, knight there. I gotta be a little careful of what I'm doing with my king in this position. Maybe King H4 is actually the best move. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna try King to H4. I was worried about knight forks. Maybe sometimes some knight shows up on E4 or something. I was a little concerned about that. So I'm gonna see if I can walk my king in here. Or maybe, okay. So he plays king there, and now Bishop to H5. I go, but Bishop to H5. He goes king. You see, I mean, he's got maybe King F5 is a good move on Bishop to H5. So do I want to go Bishop to E4 here? Okay, I'm going to go Bishop to E4. Hey. What does he do here? Interesting business. King to E5, I don't know. King to E5, maybe, I don't know, maybe not. I have some knight C3s, and knight C3 looks like it could be a good move there. At H pawn, it's annoying. So So what is good? He's got to find some moves, and he doesn't have a lot of time to do it. Up King E5. Okay. And now I thought I had knight to C3. Let me look that over. Knight takes, bishop takes, king takes, bishop takes. No way for the queen. There's no way for his queen to go. So knight C3. Bishop F6. I don't think changes it at all. Okay, bishop F6, so it doesn't change it. On the knight C3, it's the same thing. So where do I want to go with my king? King H5 is a little greedy. King G3 looks like a very safe spot. And then what are my threats? Okay, I'm on his bishop, which is very helpful. So I feel like king to G3 is the right move. Now I'm threatening what? Something, well, other than his bishop. I'm trying to see what am I threatening here. I'm looking at things like knight takes, bishop takes D5, some checks. I don't know. I mean, obviously, if there was a way to remove his bishop from F6 with some kind of trick, that would be nice, but I don't really see a way. Okay, bishop to B3, Okay, now I gotta look here at simple moves. Knight takes D5. Knight takes D5. Pawn takes D5 is probably forced, right? Bishop C3 check. I don't know about that. Giving him that D pawn doesn't seem right, does it? So, all right. Here's another one I have to look at. King takes G4. Maybe. Why not, huh? King takes G4, knight takes C3, pawn, bishop takes C3, king takes, bishop takes, and I'm making a queen. So, why not? Okay, I'm snatching a pawn on G4. And he's gone king back to E6. Okay, and now, let's see. I have two connected passed pawns, potentially. So do I just want to trade stuff? Knight takes D5. He takes back with the pawn. That looks good. Knight takes D5. What does he do? Pawn takes. Okay, and now bishop to F5. King back. All right, now, is there a way for me to get people running on both sides? I was thinking about, all right, well, first of all, I got two connected passed pawns. Can I get them going? And is his, let's see, is he bothering me at all with his passed pawn? So let's say I go king to, let's say I go king to F3. I was thinking actually about bishop to C8, but I don't know. I mean, I just feel, parting with that H pawn like that, it's just, maybe bishop C8 is just the easiest way to win. Let's just do it. I mean, I really don't like to give up a pawn like that H pawn, but, it's probably the right thing to do, because the C pawn might win a piece. Probably should win a piece. And what happened? Did he resign? Yes, he resigned. Okay, I don't know if he had to resign. It was still pretty interesting game, but thanks to DLH, thanks to everybody. That was a very tough Grunfeld there. I thought that Black was doing okay. Remember G5? It was a little bit anti-positional. Chess Gladiator, draw by repetition, queen ending. Another good game. Catface. I think that was one game I thought I was going to lose. He played very well. The exchange sack was really good and strong, and he had these passed pawns and just had me tied up. And I thought he was doing very well in that game. And then at the end, something happened, and I tricked him. Pasqualino, he just got into trouble on the diagonal, and I thought the opening was a little bit inaccurately played there. Lazy Days, just a strange opening. Thanks for the sign with you too, Lazy Days. Just Lazy Days' opening is just asking for trouble. Those hippopotamus, Duncan Suttles kind of stuff where you give back. Now, let's see. It was just a draw by repetition against Touch This. That was a tricky game. I was happy to make a draw there. I thought I was better, but never found anything, clear path to an advantage. Loud say I just didn't like the position out of the opening. Once doubled E pawns happens, once you take back with the E pawn on E5 and your C5 pawn gets undermined, that's a position that's just clearly better for white. Nas defended very well in an exchange. Queen's Gambit accepted. He defended very well. And then just when it's about to be a draw, he got his queen and king forked with knight a6. So that was a shame. He deserved better than that. But I got to say that was a little luck. Probably it was a draw, so I got an extra half a point at that deal. Dr. Strange move, too anti-positional in an exchange Queen's Gambit. Exchange Queen's Gambits is supposed to be solid, but then G5 and H5 happen. Same for Chess 24. Really an anti-positional game in a Nimzovich. I thought that Bishop takes F3 was too early and some light squares. Borgnar, I like this game. I just don't think Borgnar should have let me go Queen takes C8. He had to figure out a way. He achieved C5, but then once you let me sack the queen, Black's coordination is just looking for trouble, and you could see with his bishop on F8 and his rook on H8 that his pieces weren't coming out, and it was just good for white. Quam, I was very happy to make a draw by repetition against him because I was down a pawn. His king is a little open, so maybe that's why he did it. I mean, his king, I have some chances with the pawn storm, and he hasn't really started up anything on me yet. So I guess a draw there is probably a fair result. Jay Russell just got into trouble from the opening. Be careful with those Ragos and Queen's Gambits. It's the 2700 guys seem to play it, but be careful with that. Tahoe Sam, after the guy beats the crap out of me in other simuls, I'm just happy to make a solid draw against him. And it was boring, but it was solid. Jester just got into trouble from the opening also, and then hung a piece with the move knight to b4, but his king was stuck in the middle. I felt white was better there anyway, but he still had some chances to defend. I don't know. Frank resigned in a position that I'm not really sure that he should resign in. He in the final position, first of all, I didn't do it right. I should have gone bishop takes c6 and won his queen with rook to b1 check instead of doing this, because if he goes queen c8, I'm not so sure that it's that easy. I mean, maybe queen b4. I wasn't sure if there was some queen b7 windmill thing or whatever they called it. So I felt Frank didn't need to resign. Ultra Tumbo was the solid, probably all book in a Leningrad with the Dutch with Queen E8. Robbie Williams got into some trouble in the opening. I thought his opening was okay. He got into some trouble afterwards on the diagonal with his king very loose. Stone Castle, very anti-positional against the same-ish variation. He played a King's Indian, and I found a nice double attack that ended the game, Queen D3 on move 20. And that was it. So I want to thank everybody for joining me for my June Simul, June 27th of the year 2015. This is John Fedorowicz, Grandmaster for ICC. Hey, thanks everybody for playing in the Simul, and thanks to everybody for watching the Simul as well. Take care, everybody. Have a good weekend, and have a good week, and see you next month. Take care. Bye-bye.